Hello and welcome to the Sean Hegarty Show. I am Sean Hegarty, comedian / boxer.
You boxer?
Don't know if you knew that. I'm now a boxer. Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. There's the comedians.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Comedians charity boxing event next February the 11th next month in the Ulster Hall. Sold out within like 5 minutes.
Who are you fighting?
Pete Giffen. So I know what you're thinking. You haven't heard of him, but nobody has, so you're fine. So I'm going to trash talk him the whole way through this, by the way. Not Peter Griffin.
The guy from Family Guy?
No. Just a cartoonist, just constantly sitting there.
I've seen the chicken fight with him before. Like, he's pretty relentless.
That's what it could end up being. Now, he's, I mean this in the most respectful way, he's heavier than me. Mm. And normally in boxing, that's not how it works. By the way, Phily Taggart, everybody.
Hi. Hello. I'm not a boxer.
I just introduced myself.
I'm not a boxer, but I've taken a few slaps in my time.
So yeah, he's quite a bit heavier than me, which in boxing terms should never be allowed to match up. You should never be allowed to fight someone who's, considerably heavier than you.
I have a feeling like this is going to be like the post-match interview. This should never have been allowed to happen.
Yeah, with my fucking arm dislocated and just my eyeball just dangling from its socket. But yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So we've been training non-stop. Well, I have. I don't know if the rest of the guys have. We set up like a training camp where you go down like to ours is in Jimco Finnehy.
Yeah.
Once a week. But I've been training 2 to 3 times a day. In my head, I am now a professional boxer, and it'll not look like that.
Did you know how to box beforehand?
A little bit. I've done a little bit of white collar boxing. So I have fought in a ring once before, but it was very kind of low key. You sell tickets to family and friends, that kind of thing.
Was it like a white collar boxing event?
In the Europa.
Yeah.
About 8 or 9 years ago. So this is the first time. This is again. It's white collar again, pretty much. But everyone is taking it so seriously. So we're really out to we're watching Rocky at night, and
I saw a few things on. It's kind of hard to ignore it on social media because
it's everywhere. I think especially over the past week or so with the press conference, and I'm just trash talking Pete every single day on social media.
Is he retorting?
I thought you said something else there.
Is he coming back to you going, right?
Every now and again, yeah. He is biting, but I'm going hell for leather. I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna murder this guy. Like, we'll shake hands or hug at the final bell or whatever, but up until then, I'm out to destroy him. Like,
and like, do you have like a name, like,
Sean Hand Grenade Hegarty?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I know. I was even considering getting Joe like the tattoos of hand grenades on my hands, and then I thought, I'm not a scumbag, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna have normal hands. You won't even see them as well. So what would be the point?
There was a fella from Omagh who used to call his fists Des and Troy.
Right.
And when you get them together, it's Destroy. You don't want me to get Des and Troy out tomorrow? Feel free to use that one.
That is a good one. That is good. Have you ever done anything like that before?
Not legally, no.
Because you told me when I was making coffees in the house, and you says that you actually got into a fight. Was it in a youth club?
Oh God, yeah. Like, no, I remember like.
This was school. I'm combining two stories here.
No, in school, like I got like, I think it was like in first year. When you're like, what are you? Like, I think I was like 11. I was quite young in the year, and you got into a fight with a friend of mine. We didn't even want to fight each other. Right. It was like all boys school kind of politics. At the start of the day, the boys would kind of come together, going, right, who's fighting at the end of the day?
I can relate.
And then they would like walk over to me, and they'd be like going, he just called your ma such and such. And they go over to him, and then they'd be like to him, he just called your ma such and such. And both of us like knew rightly what was going on.
It's just golden, isn't it?
We're just like going, I was like kind of looking back at him, I was like going, he wouldn't say that about my ma. He wouldn't fucking tell, would you?
It's my cousin.
Oi, I've had enough to fucking hear we all hijinks, son. And it ended up getting into a bit of it. Like, we had to do it. Like, neither of us wanted to fight. There was no sort of bad bone in our body, but we were sort of bullied into it, really. And we were up at the hill shop outside the Christian Brothers in Omagh. Like, we were like handbagging each other against like the coal bunker, and right. Like the legend that is Connor Keys swoops in, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" I knew Keysy from youth club. Keysy would have been a good bit older than me, but like he would have been he was either at the youth club or a leader. I can't remember which one. Both are believable. But I just remember him like lifting me out and going, "Leave him alone. This is over." And he just broke up the fight, and everybody was like, because Casey was big back then as well. Like like we were squirts, like pre-puberty 11-year-olds, and he just came over and bowling balled everybody out of the way.
What was he? Alone. Would he be mid-40s?
He was mid-40s then, yeah.
This is like
nobody batted an eyelid. Like it's just him hanging out outside the school. I don't know how old Casey is at all. Like
so he did break up a fight in school.
He broke up a fight with me, yeah.
Because I thought in the house there, I thought in my head there as we were speaking that I combined two stories. Because I remember you saying that he was the first person that you told that you kissed someone.
I remember, yeah, because Casey was. This is at the infamous youth club. I mean, Casey was like a bit of a legend. And I just remember the teenage disco, and like I was one of the girls came over. "Will you go with my friend?" And I was like, probably in a full white Kappa tracksuit, just going
as you were
unbuttoning my poppers from the bottom up, going, "Well, here it is, Phil." I just like went over and kissed her, and I was like turned around the corner, and there was a couple of bigger lads there. I think he definitely would have been a leader, because it would have been weird for him to be at that disco.
He'd have been early 50s by the stage.
Yeah, and I just remember turning around going, "I kissed the girl," and everybody was just like, "Alright, cool."
Was he like, "I know," sitting watching with binoculars from a distance, was he?
God,
one hand down his trousers.
You need to ask him, like.
Yeah. So so you're from Omagh?
Yeah.
Originally? Yeah. You moved to England?
I was in Omagh, and then went to uni in Coleraine, and then moved to London to do the radio, and then I was in Brighton for a while, and then I moved back to Belfast at the sort of middle of 2021.
Right. So you've
back
been
in
around.
Dodge. I've been around, been around the block a few things.
Radio, was that the dream?
Yeah, I've been into radio since I was a kid. Like I mean, almost to go back to your sort of boxing story, like my dad was really into boxing, would have boxed when he was younger, and would always try to get me into it, and he had like sort of a small sort of gym out the back of the house. I make it sound like, very like, like that we're millionaires or something. It was a shed that, like, would have had coal in it if it wasn't.
I give it 2 months before there's a treadmill or something in
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Guaranteed.
Definitely. But there was a stereo on it, so I used to go out and pretend I was boxing. I just used to sit and have the stereo on, just sit and listen to the radio the whole time.
Just smoking, reading Heat magazine.
That's it. Going, oh my God, I can't believe it. What would it have been in the 90s? Annika Rice looks amazing. It makes such a difference when she's not in a jumpsuit. It really does.
I believe you're relating to Challenge Annika.
Challenge Annika, yeah.
Do you remember?
I mean, I don't really remember what it was. I just
Neither do
I just thought of like, what's the most 90s celebrity name that I could think of, and Annika Rice was like the first one that came.
Because instantly I think of like the Krypton Factor.
Oh, I remember that.
But I don't remember who hosted it.
I could draw you.
I could too, and
he had a bit of a floppy haircut.
In my head. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know who he is. Is he still alive? Who knows?
He imbued a nation of teenagers to the zip line. Everybody wanted to go on a zip line.
Very true.
I went to Costa Rica about 2 or 3 years ago, and went on the biggest zip lines in the world. And
high up, like, was it?
Yeah, they're high up and they're long, and they're across like basically canyons of jungle. And I thought,
that's the dream.
I was like going, I can't wait for this. This is going to be great. Knowing full well how scared shitless I am of heights, but the fucking Krypton Factor has stuck the zipline in my head for a long time. So I was like on this group of about 30 people, like, and they were all like 18, 19-year-old Germans, and the joie de vivre of life, all of them running around, having a great time. And I was like, oh, right, yeah, I'm going to do this. You go over the first zip line, and it takes you over a wee tree, and you're like going, happy days, feel amazing. Then you do 2 wee small ones, and then there's a big long one, and you get onto it, and then it's like halfway across, you're like going, what the fuck am I doing?
Really?
Holy shit. So I got to the other side, and I had a fucking full-on panic attack. And
while holding on, like in
yeah, but once I got to the other side, it kind of just hit me what I'd done, and I was walking really slowly, and I was getting lapped by all of these other like kids basically, and got to the next one and looked across, and it was longer across again, and it was like the drop was, God, it was like you're falling out of a plane, and I said to the guy, I was like going, I'm not going back, and he goes. He doesn't speak English. So I'm speaking to like a German 20-year-old girl, and I'm like going, "Can you translate for me?" And she was like going, "Yeah." Tell him I'm not fucking going back near that at all. And she's like going, he's speaking to the Costa Rican fella, and she says, "You have to go back. This is the jungle side. If you stay here, you'll die." And I was like, "Tell him I'm gonna die then." so there's a real fucking Costa Rican standoff between me and him. And
with just this woman in the middle where you're like,
she
angry at each
splits.
other, and
She read the situation and was just like, "See you later." So about 20 other people come past me, and there's just me standing staring at this like fella. He must have been about 5'4" tall and about 5'4" wide, and he had about 6 teeth. And he was looking at me, and I was like going, "I'm not going. Fuck that. Fuck that." And he goes, he can't go without me. He can't leave me in the jungle. Yeah. So he just goes. So he's like, for the benefit of anybody listening, he's pointing at himself and putting his arms around.
All right, I thought you'd like wank him off to like, horsey back to
because you know what you have to do. So do you know what he did? He strapped me in with him. Now, he's 5'4", and he put me, who's 6 foot, in front of him like a baby.
It's like Dr. Evil and Mini-Me, isn't it?
Aye. Like he's got me in a baby suit, and he runs back and just takes off with me hooked up to him, and I'm closing my eyes going, I've never felt like more of a fucking scaredy cat in my whole life.
Are you glad you went back? Were you as scared going
back?
I
went back, and then there was meant to be about another 20 zip lines. So I just like found the track and walked back. And when I walked back, the guys congratulated me and said, "Well done, nobody's ever done the course in that time before." And I just handed them back the equipment going, "Yeah, man, I know." And I went to, had to go and wait for somebody. It was another like 20 minutes. So I went to the coffee shop and was sitting down in the coffee shop waiting, like outside, drinking a coffee, just kind of feeling a wee bit low, just like, you know, do you know what I mean? You feel like a bit of a scaredy cat, and you're just like, still a wee bit panicky, residual anxiety or whatever. 2 fucking parrots come over, start pecking at me, getting fucking bullied by parrots. At my lowest.
No way.
They know it, they can smell it.
Yeah.
I know,
What do you do? Well, could they talk? No?
The parrots? They're just
Pussy.
like, "Scaredy, scaredy cat. Shame ye." Their own ones. Well, shame ye.
Fucking tattoos all up their wee legs. Unreal. What do you think it was that scared you? Is it the fear of dying, do you think, or what is it? Because I have a fear of heights too. I remember in Portadown Pool, there used to be, they've now all amalgamated into one leisure centre just down the road here. And there was 3 tiers of fucking
diving boards.
Yeah. And I could always do the first one, no problem. And sometimes I even like sort of built up the confidence to do a wee jump off the diving board, the wee springy bottom one. Yeah. But then the second one's just a flat, and it's midway between the top one and the middle one. And my kids were going up to the top, and you're talking 7, 8 years old, and just jumping off the top, just this here, just close their eyes and jumping off. And as near in tears, I was like, that's my boy, you know, that kind of thing, as they were jumping. But then I go up to the second one, and this queue starts to form behind me, and I'm standing at the railings, almost like Mr. Bean. And I'm looking over the edge, and I'm like, I just can't do it. And
trying to hang drop it.
Yeah, I was going to, only I was afraid of the kids like stamping on my hands, and I had to go. Yeah. But I was like holding on. I was just, all these emotions were going through my head, and I was like, I need to jump here. I look like such a pussy. I really need to jump.
I've been in this situation a few times, like.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it though. And then one of the kids goes, "Here, mate, are you Rodney?" And I was like, oh, no. Yeah. And they were all, there's Rodney. And word had got down the whole way down the stairs, but I had to like turn and like say, excuse me. And like all these wee kids in their wee underpants, I had to like shimmy past them on these wee narrow stone steps, and shimmy all the way down to the ground floor.
I've had to do that before as well.
It's the worst.
The thing is, people who know their limits won't ever have to go through that, because they'll just know, start off going, right, I'm not going to do that because it's not going to be good for me. But stupid cunts like us, who don't know their limits, who want to, like, you look at it and you go, that looks like a big good crack, and then you get up there and your brain turns into mush. I don't know what it is, whether it, like, what it is the fear of, or like, it's like, you know, you kind of know if you're jumping off a third like story or like the third diving board or whatever,
You're one of them.
the worst thing that could happen to you is that you might fucking break an arm or something like that. Like, but it's different. Like I used to be scared of flying, but I'm not now because I fly so much. But like, I used to have this irrational fear when I was flying that the ground would or the floor would just disappear.
Yeah. That's like, how I would feel. Do you know when you're in the shower and you hear a creak on the bath? Like if you're in a shower that's also a bath and you hear a creak and you're like, fuck, this bath's going to give way and I'm going to fall through to the kitchen. But then you have to think that there's the actual floor of the bathroom. Then there's like floorboards and stuff, and then there's all the beams, and then there's
you never see that shit
in
you never see that shit in Wallace and Gromit, like?
Never.
No.
Straight through.
Wallace Gromit, that boy, you know he was renting that house as well.
Wallace?
Aye.
Really?
Fucking digging the whole way up, putting fucking machines in left. That's his deposit gone.
He's not getting that back.
No, he's not, is he? Not like dogs, are there?
He's twice fucked. Oh, jeez. Radio 1 then, was that the goal?
I mean, like in terms of...
That was the worst segue ever, wasn't
in terms
just laughing at Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit.
Radio 1.
Like how would you even say that? Wallace and Gromit. Cheese.
That's on TV,
yeah,
isn't
cheese.
it?
Sometimes you hear cheesy music on Radio 1. Yeah.
That would have been a good one.
Wallace and Gromit. That's on the BBC every Christmas, isn't it? Another thing that's on the BBC is Radio 1.
We'll do it again. I'll cut it. Well,
no, like I mean, in term, like I wanted to be a music presenter, and broadcaster, and
because you play it
in
too,
terms,
don't you?
I used to play in bands and stuff, and I wanted to do music, presenting, but like I mean, I kind of wanted to be in a band really more than anything else at the start, and then after a while, I kind of realized that I preferred doing the presenting stuff and broadcasting, finding music and talking about it.
And then when you get paid, you get all the money too, instead of splitting it 3 ways, 4 ways, 5
Well,
ways.
I mean,
you know?
when you're playing gigs in it, what was the venue you used to play in Lurgan? Because we're close to there now. Sean's address, by the way, is and he's out of the house at. If there's any thieves listening to podcasts,
the Railway Bar, the Vintage.
I think it was Keeley House.
Keeley House, yeah,
that
that
what
used to be. It
called?
was like 2 or 3 floors.
Yeah.
3 floors,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, I think it was Keeley
I
House.
used to
we played
DJ in there.
DJ Sean.
Managerial material.
Was that what you were called?
Yeah, because I was manager of a cinema at the time, so I came up with the name Managerial Material. And I had all this wee, like managerial material. All this.
You're
like,
listening to
rectangle.
You're listening to managerial material. Drop down your aerial. No, I used to play in bands like flat out, but no, I mean Radio 1's probably when you're 22 or 23 or whatever, and you're getting into it, the best place to go because it's the best youth station in Europe. Yeah.
I used to listen to Mark and Lard back in the day, who were fucking brilliant.
They were very funny.
Chris Moyles too.
Yeah.
Chris Moyles' breakfast show was just unrivaled, you know, and probably still is to this day. Like it sounded like every morning was just this big house party, and that's what really got me into radio. And I wanted to be a radio presenter then.
Yeah, he left it pretty much as I started. I don't know if that was coincidence or he just went. I think he probably just saw me come through the door, going, "Fuck, they'll let anybody in here these days. The standards have gone to shit. I'm leaving. I'll see you later. I'm away to Jesus Christ Superstar or whatever it was he went to." I did meet him once, so I think we were like literally like the only two people smoking at the Radio 1 Christmas party. Right. Like, and I think it was my first time over, and I was like, going, "Hello." He's like, "All right, man."
Like Rachel from Friends, who just joined her work colleagues on the rooftop, just because otherwise you're sitting on your own, aren't you? You know, if you're not with the cool smokers back in the day.
There wasn't too many of them.
Just you and him.
Dying breed.
You're trying to quit at the minute?
Aye.
Not radio, like
trying to say some really outrageous shit now. Just hurry it up. Listen to that.
I thought you were going to light up there.
Today's podcast sponsored by Nicorette Cools. 2 milligrams of icy mint 20 lozenges. Do not use more than 15 lozenges a day. Keep out of the sight and reach of children.
Right. What if they see it just?
Well,
they just start itching and fucking shaking and stuff.
Just give me one more lozenge, Dad.
I need a fig.
I know that, yeah, I'm quitting smoking at the minute. It's hard. It's very hard. You like, you just become an irritable ball bag.
Yeah. You've been
Which
alright
is
up
also
to
a
now.
good DJ name as well.
It'd be funny if by the end of this you were like the Incredible Hulk. You were just fucking livid at everything. You were
Fuck
raging.
this, fuck that, and fuck you.
You want me to get on a fucking zip line to get home?
I'll tell you. I know the quitting smoking is crap crack, like, but it's easier than dying, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say it would be a lot easier. Is it a health reason? Is it financial? Is it a mixture of everything? Is it
It's
the
a mixture
smell?
of everything. It's just everything. It's just not good for you. It's just like, you shouldn't, like, nobody should be doing it. They shouldn't be selling them.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't be selling them. I mean, like, cigarettes do not, like, should not exist. Like,
but it's for tax reasons, isn't it? Is it because you can tax
been-
them so much that
yeah,
the government
they-
can make such
but like,
huge profits?
they do it over here. Like, a pack of cigarettes costs in like the UK about £11, right? You go to Europe. Like, you go, I love it, like I say Europe, like Americans, you know, Americans, everywhere's Europe.
We're going
Which
to
is
Europe.
true, like, I mean, it is true, like, you know, like Italy, Germany,
Yeah.
like Spain, Romania, whatever, is Europe.
Yeah.
We're going to Europe.
I know. I
But they always make it sound like it's like really plush and posh,
Hmm.
and it's not. Like, it's like I don't know, flipping
It's fucking fields and shite. And
like fucking like lack.
yeah.
We're in Europe. I was trying to think of the place with the least amount of people that might listen to this and get offended. I was like going, lack.
Auchnacloy.
Auchnacloy. There's plenty of people in Auchnacloy. I'm from Tyrone as well. I couldn't say a bad word against
No.
Auchnacloy because I'm just a
It's
small
Comalty.
town boy, born and raised in Auchnacloy.
I like it. Is that how you opened every radio show?
But they, like, you go over to like France or Spain or whatever, and it's like €5. And you understand like how much they're like. Yeah, they can't get rid of them because they're making so much coin off it. But it must cost the NHS some serious amount of money as well. Like.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. Any other vices? Is that the main
Vices. I think the Bet365.
He's checking your phone every 2 minutes for a horse. It's about
like going, I've got the 315. Like the have you ever seen the virtual dogs?
I've seen virtual
Like,
horses.
I think, you know, when you start betting
on shit that's not
virtual
real
stuff.
Yeah. You know.
Like, I understand like the allure of going to like Bundoran, or Newcastle, just keep it across community here, and like sticking a couple of quid or like sticking like 10p on, you know, those like little horses that sort of bounce up and down like that.
Yeah.
You're like going, that's just
Yeah.
a distraction technique. So you're
Until you get to go home again.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
you're trying to pass the time.
Your granny can go and spend £150 of 2p's or whatever. But like I always just think that like you if you ever go in, like I think I probably gamble once a year, and that's on the Grand National.
Right.
And you go in and you see these boys like watching like virtual greyhound racing, and you're like going, you've gone too far. You've gone too far this time.
And you wonder, is it a video? Is it something where the bookie is actually sitting in this big fucking studio somewhere, and he's seeing all the statistics coming up to you on who's betting on what horse, and then he goes, right, we'll get the horse with the that's going to make us the most amount of money, or the dog.
I wouldn't
We'll
put
program
it
it to
past
win.
I mean, it'd be massively illegal, like, but I wouldn't put it
Would
past
it?
them.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, like, because it's virtual, like, sort of integrate it with like games like Fortnite and stuff like that, and like just have like some guy with like an alien helmet, like instead of like.
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet for children to gamble. They're like, who's going to win this game of Fortnite?
Well,
and then they put Mr. Beast next to fucking Logan Paul or something.
There you go. I mean, there's like
It's a feature.
I think that could be
I know,
your
I
next big revenue stream.
I know. As I was
Children's
saying it,
gambling.
I was like, you should not be saying this. You should be going on Dragon's Den next week.
Yeah,
That's what I should be doing. Do you know what I mean?
like what? Credit cards have never been more easy to access from kids. If they've got your phone, they've got your number, they've got your card. What do we want from them? The parents' money.
Yeah. Go Henry account.
Yeah, there you go. Look, listen, get yourself on the den. Or
Big
what do they
tank,
call
big
it in America? The tank, the Shark Tank.
Oh yeah, Dragon's Den. That's what they call it over there.
They call it
Shark
They
Tank?
call it Shark Tank. It's like, well, like I know dragons aren't real,
Yeah.
but like, do Australians, do Americans not understand the concept of the dragon?
Because I remember I put it on one time. It was on like, what, I can't remember what channel it was on, but I thought it was that TV show. Do you know where? Excuse me, I did a big burp there inside myself. Do you know where they go to a house and it's like a big mansion and they put in a big actual tank and they fill it with fish and sharks and things like that? I genuinely turned it on one day thinking it was that, and I was like, any minute now they're gonna fucking put the screen up and all this air. It was like, it just didn't happen. It was shite.
Your idea was crap, and I'd get eaten by the shark.
Do you ever see those TV shows, the real eccentric American ones, where they go into big mansions and put in big fish tanks, like huge, like wall to wall fish tanks?
Oh right, yeah. No,
unreal.
I know it's amazing.
Yeah,
I did see the video clip of MILF Island. Did you see that one?
no, but that sounds like somewhere you would like to visit.
It's like having a conversation with like your mum or your wife or something. I was thinking about a family holiday to MILF Island. Would you be interested in going? No, you'd be more of a gilf.
Stay in the hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. What would the culinary be like in MILF Island? They'll make TV shows about literally anything. If you can think of anything, it's been made into a TV show.
Yeah. Do you think we could come up with a TV show now and pitch it? We'll maybe give, is it Stephen Bartlett?
Who's Stephen Bartlett?
Diary of a CEO.
Oh yeah,
Dragon's Den. Give him a shout out.
I love his name because like he
just
sounds like he's from Lurgan, doesn't he?
He really does, yeah. Especially because there's Mickey Bartlett, there's Kieran Bartlett. Do you know?
I was saying this the other day. It's like Alicia Keys sounds like she's from Omagh.
Alicia Keys, yeah. Connor Keys'
sister.
I was going to say niece.
I
suppose they are nearly the same age. She's quite old, isn't she?
I'd say sister. Or what do you call it? I always thought Ricky Martin is a good Omagh name as well.
Yeah, his name was fully anglicised though, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
What was his real name? Like
Enrique Martin or something.
Oh, is it?
Because it was like, obviously, he went to Simon Cowell or something in his office, and Simon Cowell was like, "It's fucking Ricky Martin, mate." On you go.
He just comes back and, he's just come back from a wee holiday and like, I don't know, flipping mid-Ulster or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I need to give you a name. I'll call you Donald McGinley." This is, do you know what I mean? This is the brand new single. Put Your Finger to My Lips by Donald McGinley. Shh.
There's probably a guy now, Donald McGinley, who is like an acoustic guitarist, and he's trying to start his TikTok, and we're just sitting here slagging him, and we don't even know he exists.
Listen. Fuck him. That's what I say. Fuck him. Put the guitar down, Donald. Go back to your fucking day job.
Speaking
fake
of
beef.
I'm actually going to do a bit of a segue here. It's still shite, but it's a better one. I feel like a band are fucking playing somewhere close to here. Do you know what? Our bins are out. It's probably the bin men.
It's probably that makes more sense than a full scale
a
band coming down.
Yeah. Or maybe it is the bin men with big bins strapped to their chest. Just
well, you're on a cul-de-sac as well. It would be strategically awful for a band to come down this way. To just be coming back on each other.
Turn around. So speaking of Donald McGinley, wasn't it Donald McGinley?
Donald McGinley, yeah.
Yeah. You've met quite a few pop stars.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Enda McGinley.
Barry
McGinley.
Porrig.
Porrig. Basically was reared in her house. I know I've met like a load of people.
Any you've been like shit scared to meet?
Tom York from Radiohead I was a bit shit scared to meet.
Yeah.
But he was alright. He was good. The interview was really, really good.
All good segues and stuff, yeah.
Huh?
All good segues with
him.
Yeah.
Great segues. I actually like. It was weird because he came in to play on the show, and I'm a massive Radiohead fan. So he came in and played "Everything in Its Right Place" from Kid A. It's like one of my favorite songs. And he brought in like this really beautiful piano and was playing it, and he knocked it out first go because he's obviously been playing that song his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also in to play. He'd written the soundtrack to the remake of Suspiria, and he was playing it kind of live for the first time. Obviously he had written it and it was a beautiful piece of music, but and it was very technical. Like what he was doing, it was very like I don't really know that much about piano, but I know enough to look at him play it, going Jesus Christ. So he was like having to sing this beautiful song, and play it at the same time, and he kept messing it up. And you don't really expect that, from somebody who is like literally one of the best in the world.
Was he nervous from meeting Phil Taggart?
I think so, yeah. Exactly. He'd heard about my burgeoning Gaelic career, and he was just like, oh, I feel all warm and cozy. And he was playing away, and at the end, he would like almost do that sort of thing you would imagine in a piano player in the Royal Albert Hall or Carnegie Hall would do, where he just like dramatically hits the final chord, and then the head goes down, and then there would be silence, and then he would just go, "Cunt!" And he'd go, right, I need to do it again. And he messed it up like 3 or 4 times. Every single time. God! Everybody was so taken back. We're like,
this obviously wasn't live on air.
No.
That'd be fucking brilliant, wouldn't it?
Would. Yeah.
It's 20 minutes past and you're still waiting on this fella trying to do one song.
I remember Liam Gallagher coming in and starting an interview, and he was just saying so much mental stuff that the producer had to step. And I could, like, he was just saying so much unbroadcastable things. Like,
Certain to be
like,
off his bollocks back then,
like,
though.
Yeah, but he was like talking about drugs, and he was like taking a piss, and he was just doing all sorts of stuff. But it wasn't live. And I was just laughing because, like, he's so funny. He's just so funny, and you can't. And it was the first time I'd interviewed him as well. And I used to watch interviews with him just for a laugh anyway, because he's got like the most witty, like, turn of phrase, and he just, if there's a joke there, he doesn't go for it. He goes for like the complete left field one.
Right.
He lives in his own brain, like, and I started laughing so much. The producer was just coming in and was like going. And he started laughing as well because he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was making me piss myself. So we were both pissing ourselves. And the producer was like going, Liam, if we could just like maybe not speak about these certain subjects, and Phil, if you could just like not laugh the whole time and maybe ask a couple of questions. And I was like, right, okay. And I was like, well, so what are you, like, just like random questions, like, so what are you excited about today? It goes, like, what are you excited about, like, the year coming up, because he was just releasing his debut album solo, and he was like, oh man, I'm getting a Sunday roast, I'm getting to watch the football today. He was like, just yes,
simple.
And he's like, well, my mom's from round your way. Where are you from? Omagh. He's like, going, yeah, somewhere around there.
Fucking, his mum's actually from here?
No, she's from Mayo or somewhere like that.
Right,
Peter Kay's ma's from Dungannon.
So here,
yeah.
So he was always impersonating her, wasn't he, and doing her accent.
He does a good.
He's bound to have based that character off her.
Yeah.
I was going to say Maureen. It's not Maureen, is it? What do you call her? You're the wee woman that he plays the character.
Oh yeah. No, I know the one.
No, it's not Philomena either.
I don't know the name.
I'll tell you all the names that she's not called.
Putting Dungannon on the map.
Big time. Yeah. And his wee granny passed away, I think, a while back. Do you remember his granny used to be in all his specials? He would like talk about her on stage, and she'd be like waving.
Peter Kay must be near 50.
I'd say
he
he
still
will be
has a
touching
granny?
50 now. Not anymore, he doesn't. But
I know, but like, I mean, up until quite recently, that's pretty good going.
Big time.
Flipping
Have you seen
Have
Peter Kay recently?
Have you still got a granny?
No, I have no grannies. Neither does Diona.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Only since your ex. You're like, fuck that bitch.
I've got a friend of mine who's really, really morbid. Like, he's like pure, but like, it's just like, that's his sense of humor. I was really gutted, like, like somebody had passed away, and he's done this to me about 3 times, and I'd be like, I told him I was crying one time. I was like, oh, I can't believe it, such and such passed away. He just goes, I'm glad.
Sometimes you need stuff
I was
like
expecting
that, a bit of comfort or a bit of,
yeah,
mate,
and he's
you'll
glad,
be all right.
and I just started laughing. I was like going, oh, you're such a fucking, you're a grim bastard. And to be honest, I kind of did need it, like.
I love that though, I really do. Like, see, when celebrities die, there's nothing I love more than thinking of jokes about them instantly, before they're cold. As soon as it's announced, I'm like, fucking think of jokes, googling all the song titles and stuff, and seeing what I can work into puns and stuff. But audiences are very sensitive now.
I was gonna say, do you not get into like trouble with that? Like, if you, I mean, have you got in trouble with it?
Online.
I'd say being a comedian online would be a minefield. Like.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's a few times I've sort of got to the point where I was like, this is just not worth it anymore. So you just have to post them in your family WhatsApp group because you need to release them. You need to go, somebody fucking take this off my hands, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to tell people, but you just can't post stuff like that online anymore. Unless it's I don't know, if it's a Hollywood celebrity, it's almost like, fuck up, you don't know them. Do you know what I mean? What do you, all right, have a wee cry or be grieving or whatever, but realistically it doesn't change anything about your day. You're not now making plans to buy a suit and go to the funeral. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to go to the wake and
it
fucking...
depends how, you know, like there's certain people in the world that are just off limits, you know, like there's like
Garth Brooks.
Oh, you want to live in Ireland and make jokes about Garth Brooks?
I know.
You'd be walking around with a target on your cowboy hat, like. You'll never be able to work in this town again.
Tomorrow will come.
Yeah,
don't it? It'll be his fucking funeral. I was shaking compared to yours. I can't believe I said that. That was terrible. I don't know many Garth Brooks songs. You see,
Garth Brooks is headlining Crooked at Park.
Well done. I would need to Google stuff.
This comedian shit's easy.
It's easy, isn't it? I know. You want to try press and play on records?
That's difficult. You're just like going, to start, press any key. You're like, where's the any key?
Do you not think though? See, like before I started in radio, listening to it, you were like, this is so technical. There is literally so much to do, and you know, you have to line up the next song and do this and do that, and you know, there's the wee sort of the bits that come in, they're all like, you're listening to whatever radio station and things like that, and you're like, this is unbelievable. Like how like radio presenters must just be flat out pressing buttons and turning knobs and stuff all day, and then you go into a radio station and it's literally like you press the space bar and the next one just plays and then you keep it on like autopilot until you're ready to talk, and it's all pre-lined up for you.
Well, it depends
to a certain extent.
Yeah, it depends on the sort of show you do, the sort of technicality you do. Like some programs are unbelievably technical. So like, say if I go in, right, this is going to be so boring for some people, right? Like if you're vaguely into radio, it's going to be all right. But you've got like a little screen there, and it's got like all your little bits of music you talk over, which are called beds, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got like 2 faders here for your music. So normally you're playing off about 3 faders. And then another thing, because there's all the different studios, so you have to like take the network from different studios, which I've completely messed up so many times.
Now, what do you mean, take the network
so
from
like
different
studios? So like the
studios?
studio beforehand, say like Nolan's on in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be broadcasting from a specific studio. So for you to be able to go out the FM transmitter or online or whatever, the power has to come over to you in the last like 30 seconds to a minute. Mm-hmm. So you just like, there'll be an operative there, like if you need it, but sometimes you just take it yourself. And I've taken Nolan off air twice. By accident.
Will you say by accident?
Yeah, but by accident, and I was just like, oh no, I don't know what I've done. So that like there's a big ability to go wrong. I mean, you can hit the wrong buttons, put the wrong callers up. Like live radio is a minefield. Like you can like there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, especially the more stuff you add to it, the more games, the more people that you have on the mic, the more likelihood is somebody's going to say something ridiculous, or you're going to go off. And you just have to learn how to roll with it. I'm sure it's the same being a comedian. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to forget your lines, or your story's going to change.
That's it. That's when you talk to the audience, or you have backups. You have all these things that you can do. Like, right, if I forget what I'm going to say next, I'll go over here and I'll press play on this musical insert, or I'll pull up an instrument and play it, or do something. It's like
some comedians don't give a fuck though. They just walk up with their notepad.
I know. People see them all written on their hand, and they come up and they're all...
These are all going to die of blood poisoning. The amount of comedians have blood poisoning.
I know. Unbelievable. But one time I was on Cool FM and doing like the really late show, and I finished about 3 a.m, and I thought I had left it on autopilot, where the music would just run until Pete and Rebecca and Paul come in at 6 or whatever. But whatever happened, I pressed play on a song and just left. I must have been so tired, and got a phone call the next day being like, there was silence on KFM for like 3 hours.
For 3 hours?
And I was like, oh fuck. I usually get in the car and put the radio on for about 10 minutes just to go, right, 100% I'm sure this is on autopilot, because it's continuously playing.
Yeah.
But I could have swore that happened, and the fellow was like, no, there was about 3 hours of pure silence. Like they
Oh my
paid for
God.
ads and things run, and it was. Now this was years
I'd
ago.
say
so I
whoever's
can
paying
talk
for an
about
ad
it,
at fucking 4:30 in the night's not paying much more
There's
than about
but
£1.50.
setting their
like.
alarm, getting up, fucking
Yeah, exactly.
ticking and going back to bed.
Come to Martin's illegal Fire Stick shack. Do you want Sky and not want to pay for it? Come to Martin. How long were you on Cool FM for?
I started as the Rodney character doing the cool break. No, it was a cool break. Some Saturday morning show, and that ran for about 6 months to a year. Where I was coming in and doing maybe it was like a 4 hour show, and I was doing the middle 2 hours with the hosts and stuff and co-host, and I was just having banter and sending Snapchats and doing all wee things, playing games with the
Whose show
listeners and
was it
stuff.
on?
Stuart Robinson.
Oh, right, okay.
And then I started on my
He's
own.
like the boss there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started on my own doing 1 to 3 in the morning. So when I think it was Melissa Riddell finished, she did like 10 till 1, I think. And then when she finished, I took over till 3. And it was just pretty much like getting myself trained up, getting the air miles, getting used to being on air and being live. But they had a really big listenership. Like, they really, like truck drivers and taxi drivers and things, you had a lot of requests and a lot of people going, oh, I was listening to your show last night, or comedians coming home from gigs and stuff and flicking it on and listening. And it was going really well and stuff. And then just things didn't materialise and things didn't kick on. I was like, how long do I want to be awake till 3 in the morning doing the school run?
That's tough.
Doing
That's tough.
jobs during the day, gigging at night and stuff like that, and it was too tough. And I was just like,
You're gonna have to be like one of
Just
those
gonna leave.
like sleeping upside down with a blood transfusion for about 2 hours.
yeah,
Get
Brutal.
back into it.
yeah. Oh, there's nothing worse than night shift. You're doing Sirius XFM, Sirius FM,
Sirius XM.
XM.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What does that mean? What's X?
Satellite radio.
Right.
So, like, I mean, America's so big.
Is it?
It's huge, man. It's like double the size of Northern Ireland.
No way.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Takes you an hour to drive across it.
No way.
It's absolutely incredibly crazy. Sirius XM, it's like I think it's the biggest radio network in America. So like it's North America as well. So they do Canada and the US.
There's a South America.
Yeah, there's a South America. They don't go near the South America.
Fuck.
Just USA,
Must be
Canada. That's it. Yeah.
massive. Unreal.
And
Do you do it live? Do you
no,
pre-record?
I pre-record it.
Oh, I was gonna
But it's
say
like
happy
a
days.
it's like a drive time program. So like I do it during the day and then it goes out 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So what's that like?
They have different time zones.
Yeah.
Is that how big it is?
4 p.m. in New York and Canada and that area, and 1 p.m. in LA and that sort of area as well.
Class.
And it's just like an alternative music station, and you can say whatever the fuck you want on it.
Can you?
There's no Ofcom or.
Unreal.
I try not to, because sometimes, like, I remember when I started, kind of was just like going, right, the rule book's out the window, and then I go and do a show on the BBC with the sort of same mind frame, going, oh no, I can't say that.
Yeah. So do you try and keep it sort of run of the
I
mill,
can't
where
say
you're
it.
just
Yeah, it's a bit of crack. Like, I mean, it's every single day. It's like an alternative music station that I do the drive time show on.
class? And do you get guests and stuff in? Is it
No,
more
I just do it myself.
Just you?
Yeah, just me
Yeah.
chatting.
From home studio or what?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good crack. Like, I mean, the Americans and the Canadians are lovely. They're good crack. They're like, you ask them to get in contact with you about something, and they'll send you over here. If you like said, like, you know, we're talking about X, Y, or Z this week, you get like maybe half a sentence in. In America, you ask about something, there's like, they send in a 5,000 word email, and like it always reverts back to, like, they'll answer the question at the start and be like, going, you know, my cousin Angela has a friend who went to school with her, and she went to Blennerhassett Castle on holidays, and you might know her. She's from Cork. So like, we're coming over to Killarney to kiss the Blarney Stone, and we're wondering if you wanted to meet up for a pint of the black stuff. And you're just like, what the fuck are you on about?
Unbelievable. Because they're all like 1/16 Irish or something,
Everybody
aren't they?
is.
They're every person,
Yeah.
like every single person. And they always ask you, do you know somebody? Do you know the
But
O'Flaherty's?
the thing
from
is,
County
that's happened
Lioise?
me. That's happened me before, and I have known them.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like,
Fucking hell.
it's set in Ireland back by hundreds of years, somebody, I was like, where was I can't remember where I was. Somebody was like going, oh, I've got a friend, this is blah blah blah, and that's actually happened to me twice, and they're like, do you know such and such? I was like going, fuck's sake,
What are the
I do.
chances?
I fucking do as well.
Would you not just pretend you don't though?
Just to annoy them.
Just to annoy them.
Aye. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm from America. Do you know Rocky Balboa? And they're like, well, it's not even a real person. He's from America in the movies. Do you know Marlon Brando?
Do you know when you were even talking about Radiohead and then you say like Marlon Brando? What was the film Marlon Brando did? The Godfather. I do not pride myself on any of these facts that I'm going to tell you about me, but the likes of Radiohead, like all my life I couldn't name one Radiohead song. I couldn't, like I've never seen The Godfather. I've never seen all these big movies and all these big bands and
Where
stuff.
have you been? Did you? The thing is, did you go to uni?
No.
See that?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like I watched Godfather in uni. I got into Radiohead. And they're very 2000s uni things.
Like
to do.
Scarface and Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah,
and
I don't think I would have watched them. Like
The Shining and all. Never seen any of them.
No, I wouldn't have watched any of them if I hadn't have been. Because the thing is, it makes me sound so old, but we didn't have Wi-Fi in our uni houses.
Yeah.
We had literally like my uni house was in Port Stewart, and if I wanted to go and check my Facebook or Bebo, wanted to go on my Bebo. Thank God that's gone. It's like and Facebook's kind of the same. Facebook's kind of
It's
off
going,
too.
isn't it? That's where I built my following. I built a following. I was like, just concentrate on the one platform. You know, don't scatter them across. Just build and build and build and build. Built it up over about 3 or 4 years of about 56,000.
Jesus Christ, right?
And then it just died. Just the algorithm changed. Everyone started moving to Twitter, and then everyone moved from Twitter to Instagram, and now it's between Instagram and TikTok, and it's like
Instagram's going the same as Facebook now.
Is it? Yeah. The algorithm wise.
But it's the algorithm, isn't it? It's like if you
your feed, remember, used to be just everyone you followed.
If you've got like 20,000 followers, then it used to be 20,000 people, or no, maybe not 20,000 people, but close to that would see it.
Yeah.
Now it's like 10% of that.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I know. That's it.
I started TikTok last week.
Did you? How you find it?
Fucking notion what I'm doing.
It's the worst, but it's also it's very addictive. Like it really is. See, when you start, like you could go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole of whatever it is that interests you. See if it's fucking skydiving or kayaking or something. You watch one kayak video from start to finish, and the next time you go into it, it'll show you like 5 or 10 videos, and it just goes on from there.
I've left my phone in my car. I wanted to show you something. Did I leave my phone in my car?
Do you want to go get it?
No. Do you know what it is? I'll send you a link to it. I'll send you a link to it after.
Right.
It's really fucked up. A friend of mine sent it to me. It's like this Italian couple, but she's 76 and he's 19.
You see that every now and again.
Yeah. But like I'm not saying that that's messed up. Like I'm like
no,
that.
It's
It's kind of weird. Like,
it's fucked up.
It is kind of weird because like I mean, yeah, he's 19. She's 76. That's just odd, right? But there was a video on TikTok of him doing a gender reveal.
Of her or of
Aye.
like getting her?
No, like it was a big attack.
She was pregnant?
Yeah, like there was a big production and there was fireworks and balloons and it's the two of them holding hands and they're holding hands and there's like a 10-foot model of a woman and like an open stomach and the baby, there's like a picture of a baby and it's flashing pink or blue, and then hits pink, and they're like, "Oh my God!" He kneels down and like hugs her stomach, and I'm just
so
like,
she's pregnant. It's 76.
I don't, but but like this is clearly this page is clearly not real because like it's impossible. So
unless they're doing like some kind of surrogacy
thing. No, they're not because the next video is her having a scan.
76.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
Well, I'm sure she is too. She's 76.
But I mean, I'm just like TikTok confuses me because like before that I'm on Instagram and I'm only seeing videos of like what my friends are and
this opens up a whole new world.
Targeted marketing to me like which works so well. Like they're going, here's a nice hoodie and I'm like, oh, I might buy that hoodie. Now I'm on TikTok and I'm like, it's like
Yeah.
It's like the Wild West.
Yeah, it's Instagram on fucking ketamine, like it really is. It's just the most random, bizarre
I went on
nonsense.
the first videos that I got sent to, like on TikTok, when I like, because I said, like, you know, one of the New Year's resolutions was like, right, I have so many interviews, I have so much content that I can put out, and I've never put it out. So from my podcast and stuff, so I was like, right, I'll start using TikTok, and I opened up TikTok, I saw that video, right. Absolutely, I was like, what am I watching? And then the next video that comes up afterwards is like somebody filming a police officer trying to arrest them, and them just fighting with each other, boy, from like Omagh or around that direction, going. He was like going, get your hands away from me, step back, all this stuff. I'm like, how did I go from they're speaking Italian to like this really weird video of like
That's how it
somebody
works.
putting up like a picture of
Yeah.
a police officer? You're just like going, I don't understand what TikTok is.
Yeah,
I just need to get off this.
that's how it works. Yeah, it's really mental. It's like it's mental. It goes from showing you a video proving how Michelle Obama is really a man, and then it just goes to some fella going, "Hello, TikTokers! Got out of McGabry 2 days ago, enjoying myself. You know, just letting you know I'm all right." That's how it works. It's a fucking minefield of shite. It really is. But you know what? I see videos all the time, and people, do you know, a trend is like the worst thing now for a comedian, because a trend is, they have seen this video, they've literally just ripped it off, carbon copy, and they're just reposting your video, but they're doing it instead of you doing it, so they get all the glory. And then if you read the caption underneath, it's like, just jumping on this trend, and you're like, it's not a fucking trend, you've stolen it. You've literally stolen somebody else's content, and you're doing it.
So what they're trying to tell you is basically like plagiarism's fine.
Yeah, that's what TikTok is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see how like comedians in the past would have been like, you stole my joke. No, that's my material. Do you know, now TikTok is anything goes. You can do anything. I remember laughing my head off at this woman telling a joke, and I was like, that's fucking brilliant. This is class. I'm going to follow her. And then I read the caption, and it was all, had to jump on this trend. Just wanted to do it for myself.
Oh, so she's telling the joke?
Aye. But it's all the time. But it's everything. It's all like all these really cool ideas and things that people have done. But other people are just going, that's brilliant. I'm going to do that. And then they play a prank on their wife or their partner or whatever. And it's just normal.
See, I
hate it.
I love telling really long-winded jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, you know, of course I rip them off. I fucking like, I hear them, other people saying them.
Yeah, there's a difference. So,
but I'm not a comedian.
Yeah,
and I'm not doing it for clout. Like, do you ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I've seen a few episodes.
Have you ever heard the liver joke?
No.
I'm not going to tell it to you. It's too long. But
I'll look it up.
Like, look it up on YouTube. And anybody who's watching this, I told this joke at the Christmas dinner table. So anyway, if you've seen it, you'll know. Just type in Curb Your Enthusiasm liver joke.
Liver joke.
And I told this to my ma and my sister on Christmas Day.
Is it rough?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Super rough. Like,
it's the best kind of humor though.
it was like
Dark humor.
You've ruined
the
Christmas
best.
style humor.
Love it.
I was told I ruined Christmas this year because we were all sitting there, like my mum, my sister, my dad, and my uncle, and I just like was like going, God, like to my mum's dog. I was like, "Jeez, mum's." The dog's called Noel.
Right.
Turned up on Christmas Eve 6 years ago. It was either going to be Jesus, Santa, or Noel, so I called him Noel. So it's Noel Taggart.
Right.
Sounds like a wee drunk. It'd be in
His album's out in
pub.
June.
His album's out now, Noel Taggart. It must be seen to be believed. It would be the caption underneath it.
Pause for thought, but it's PAWS.
Pause for thought. I like that. That's it.
Rough Rider Records.
Will you be my fire hydrant tonight? And I was like, Jesus, Noel's got wild fat, and everybody, whole room turned on me.
No way.
What are you saying that for? What are you saying that to poor Noel for?
Cover his
What are you
ears.
saying that on Christmas Day for? You let leave Noel alone, poor wee Noel. Look at him.
You've heard his feelings.
You've
He's
heard his
wobbling
feelings.
away.
Cover his ears. You call Noel fat on Christmas Day?
Fuck's sake.
You know what? Painting yourself.
Diona told me this story. This is a segue. Just when you were talking about being fat. This
Being a fat bastard.
I don't know if this actually happened. It's you've met Diona, and Diona does not stop until you go, I have to go and do this thing now. Do you know, I'll talk to you in a bit. And I was almost like half listening. I think I was watching football or something, and I was half just trying to listen to her and watch the match. But I really hope I'm not telling this story that someone has told her or this happened to them. But this woman had to be craned to hospital. She was like 47 stone or something.
Oh, I've seen this on like Channel 4 documentaries and stuff.
This
before.
might be from a documentary then. Hopefully it isn't. It's not somebody's
I think
auntie
I've
who
seen
watches
it.
this.
I think I've seen it a couple of times. It's like people
there was
get
a really
so
bad smell from her. Did you hear about this? No?
No.
So there was a really bad smell coming from her, and she had to get craned into the hospital to try and figure this out, and they did loads of tests and stuff on her, and then the doctors had to like sort of go through all her bits of flab bit by bit.
Can I guess what I think might happen?
Go.
That they've found food.
A cat. Like rotted in her flab.
Oh my god. That poor
Are we
cat.
kidding? I know.
A poor woman as well.
Like, for starters, how to get in there, but how do you not notice? And how long has to pass for a cat to rot in your flab?
Oh my days.
I know.
Your pillow talk with
It's
Diona
interesting.
is really on point.
Do you want to listen to this next week and she'll be all,
Like,
what the fuck? That's the girl who was on my podcast, aren't they? And I'll be like, oh.
see, this is the
I need to
difference.
listen
This
more.
is the difference between like boys' podcasts.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when we told that story, and like that's why it's sad. Like, you go to the other one, it's like what?
Let's think
Oh
of
my
jokes.
God. Fucking hell!
Unreal.
Was it her cat?
I've no idea. I don't know.
Just the neighbour's cat. You know, you see,
Scary.
you just never know.
You don't know what you're living beside.
The thing is, you can say that for pretty much anything. Sorry, I've just completely turned around you. You can say that for anything, like absolutely anything.
You just never know.
You just never know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he has to be kind of vaguely sad as well. Be like, going, here, do you see that there was a bus burnt out in West Belfast there yesterday? You have to breathe in as well, we do.
Yeah.
So you just never know. doesn't mean anything.
I feel like I just want to spend the rest of the podcast just doing loads of those now, just between us. Just
What is like?
there are more of them though, aren't there?
Yeah.
You don't know what's around the corner. You do a wee tut before it. You don't know what's around the corner, do you?
Or if you're like particularly mute, this happens for a lot of men in Tyrone. I don't know, say something vaguely morbid to me. It makes it sound like it's my
about
kink.
you, or
Say something vaguely morbid to me. No, so that's something bad that may have happened.
I'm glad your auntie's dead. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the inward inhale, but saying yes at the same time. See if people know what. Maybe did you do it up in Urgandy as well?
My mum used to do it. I remember in the 90s, my mum used to go.
Hi. It's just maybe I don't know. Maybe the damp atmosphere around Tyrone has made us as a load of agreeable asthmatics.
Yeah. I just never know, do you?
You just never know. So you never know. Do you see the cat's got asthma? So you just never know. So you just never know.
I remember being interviewed one time for a newspaper, and this guy says to me, he goes, so how did you get into stand-up? And so start you talking and I'll be him, right? Just make something up and just talk and talk.
About it, so like you're asking me that question.
Uh-huh.
Well, I got into stand-up because oh god, that would be well annoying.
Constant, the whole way throughout the whole.
The thing is, like, you're taught you're taught. When I studied journalism, like at uni, and like the sort of basic 101 is it's called the naughty.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but that's just general empathy, you know, to talking to somebody. And you want them to make sure that they're being heard, so you sort of nod your head a wee bit. Everybody does that, and I mean, like you would do that when you're having a conversation with Diona about cats dying and
in people's blubber.
But doing the yeah.
Relentless.
No,
It's the worst.
I couldn't deal with that.
I know.
It's like when you're getting told off. You're like, you're coming in from school going, this report card is one of the worst that I've ever seen in my life. Do you really think that you're gonna? I know. Shut up. I know.
I need to do better. So no, it's like going for confession.
How do you find it though? Like, I'd assume that like you probably got a couple of talkings to when you were a kid.
Oh yeah. Loads.
How do you find the parent thing, doing the talkings to?
I find it really, really, really difficult to give a shit a lot of the time, which sounds really bad on my part, but not in a way where I don't give a shit about my kids, but I mean where something would happen, Joe, like my daughter would do something, she's 20 months old, and you're like, in the grand scheme of things, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? We stain on the carpet or something, but in your head you have to be like, you don't do that, you're not allowed to draw on the floor. Do you know, you draw on your paper. But in my head I'm like, I have to make 20 people laugh, or I have to make 200 people laugh in 20 minutes. You know, I have to fucking leave and go through all my material in the car, and you've more shit to think about. But you have to be like, no, you don't do that ever again. You say sorry to the floor, or do you know, whatever it needs to be. But it is a struggle of mine to be a disciplinarian. Diona would be the disciplinarian between us two, and I would just be, actually, you didn't mean it, go on out and play, you're alright. So it's
easier to be like that though, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you think that's what it comes down to, that it's just easier to just not give a shit, or just to turn a blind eye or brush it under the carpet? Is it an old Irish kind of way of going, actually nobody
I
really
don't think you can have two disciplinarians in a relationship.
No.
I don't have any kids, so like, listen, I'm not the person to listen to on this. Like, you've got a good few, like,
just a couple.
But like, I mean, you kind of, it's hard. I would say it would be hard for if you had two people that weren't disciplinarians, or two people that were, you know.
I suppose it's how scumbags are raised, isn't it?
You just never know.
You just never know.
Feral. They raised themselves. Actually, they were dragged up. They were dragged up, them ones.
I did a wee snort there. That's how funny it was.
They were.
You just never know.
Oh, they never had a chance. That's it. So this is it. That's the other one.
Aye.
So this is it. You say that to absolutely anything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Or that's wild.
Wild.
That's wild, lad.
Tara. That's a Tara. That's a Tara altogether. I still don't really understand what that means. Is it that's a terror?
I thought that meant that that's terrible, but you just couldn't be bothered saying the rest of it. That's Tara.
That's a Tara.
Do you know what I mean?
Thing is that you can have a full conversation of just these these little sound effects.
There's a comedy sketch there, isn't there?
But
two old men meeting each other in the street, and it's just all this fucking Morse code.
So this is it.
Just another story for another day.
Turn around and then like ask what happened. It's like going, well, Bridget's father, blah, blah. You couldn't go into full detail about it then. This is it, sure.
Yeah.
Come here, let's tell you.
Hey man, I could speak to you all day, but I feel like we need to wrap this up because I think we've gone well over an hour. But I really appreciate you coming on, and it'd be great to have you back down sometime soon.
Happy days, yeah. Thanks for
do this all again. Yeah, appreciate it. Anything to promote? Anything coming up?
I always think it's really funny, like when people have to promote things at the end of the show, and I'm just like sitting there going, Duffy Circus.
2 for 1 tickets available now.
Yeah, I just my Chill the Beat show on Spotify.
Chill the Beats, all one word.
All one word, yeah. It's like a 2-hour music show of kind of more mellow style music and good guests and stuff like that. I've had Liam Gallagher on, I've had John Hopkins on, I've had loads of people on as well. So yeah, check that out.
Class. Thanks for coming down. Really appreciate it. And
Happy
see you
days.
soon. Have a good one.